Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Marvel-ous Reviews. I'm Spider-Man, this is my cheerful friend Wolverine, and today we are joined by the Merc with a Mouth himself, Deadpool. Sup guys? So, now that we've introduced ourselves, on to the... Deadpool! Sorry. Anyway, today we are reviewing the infamous 2009 prequel to the X-Men film series, X-Men Origins Wolverine. The film details how a young James Howlett becomes the crotchety, foul-mouthed, smelly, indestructible, amnesiac mutant that we all know as Wolverine.
I am sitting right here, bub.
This film is considered to be the worst X-Men movie and one of the worst Marvel movies to date, and I have to say, we aren't going to be any exception when it comes to criticism here. The film is bad. Very bad. But not without a lack of trying to be great, though. The film has a great, yet mostly underused cast. It's with the plot and the writing where the film becomes a mess. Oh, whatever, Spidey. This film is complete. Deadpool, no profanity, please. Sorry. Before I get onto the cast, the plot, and the writing, let's ask its title character for his opinion on the matter. Wolvie? Stop it. What did you think of the movie?
Didn't like it.
Really? Wow. I kind of expected you to defend it like Tony did with his movie. I mean, granted, Iron Man is a far superior film to X-Men Origins Wolverine. But still, wow. How come?
It wasn't the kind of film I wanted to see. I wish they'd just given me complete creative control over the thing. I'd have shown them a story.
Logan, if you'd been in control, the film would have been an R-rated mess. Or 18-rated mess, if you live in the UK.
And your point is?
It would be torture porn.
Nah, I just go for the regular stuff.
Too much information, Deadpool.
I still thought Hugh Jackman was great as me, though. Sure, the writing and dialogue he was given was absolute bullplop. See, I can go without swearing.
Whatever.
But despite all that, he overcame it, and he still gave a great performance.
Wow, Logan. You're actually starting to sound like a film critic.
Shut up.
I completely agree with you. On Hugh Jackman's performance, that is. You'll never shut me up. Aside from Jackman, the cast as a whole are probably the best thing about the movie. Unfortunately, many of the standout actors are playing characters that just plain don't belong in the film. Taylor Kitsch's Gambit, for instance. He looks and sounds just like the character, but he's completely wasted in this film. Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson / Deadpool is another example.
No comment.
Really, Deadpool?
No comment.
Okay. When we see him near the start, Reynolds sounds perfectly hilarious, and he looks very natural with Deadpool's signature katanas. But towards the end of the movie, when he's turned into Weapon 11 by William Stryker, played here by Danny Huston, he doesn't in any way resemble this Deadpool. No, he doesn't. In fact, Weapon 11 just comes off as a standard video game boss. Kevin Durant is also the perfect fit for the Blob, and the scene where Logan boxes with him is one of the only times the film is actually funny. Ultimately, though, these three characters have little to nothing to do with the overall plot, and the characters that actually are more integral to it aren't given nearly enough screen time, characterization, or depth to validate themselves. Lynn Collins and will.i.am both give good performances as Kayla Silverfox and John Wraith, respectively, but both are severely underused. Liev Schreiber fares better as Sabretooth in terms of screen time, but despite a decent performance, he's given absolutely no character motivation or dimension and just comes off as a bad guy stereotype. Racist? What? How is mentioning the word stereotype racist? I don't know. I just haven't said anything in a while.
Oh, why the hell did you even invite this guy?
Because I'm on the title sequence, duh. Anyway, Logan, do you have any disagreements with my opinions on the cast?
No.
Good. I'll just go through the last few cast members then. Danny Huston's performance as William Stryker is serviceable enough, but his character is let down by uninspired dialogue. Dominic Monaghan as Chris Bradley and Daniel Henney as Agent Zero barely register in the movie, and oh yeah, Cyclops has a little cameo in all of this. As if that's gonna make up for his lack of screen time in the previous X films. X films. Now for the plot. I'm only going to mention 5 things about it, because if I try to talk about the whole story, we'll be here all day. Thing number 1. Wolverine and his origin. So, Wolverine in this movie is manipulated by Weapon X into undergoing a procedure that will coat his entire skeleton with the indestructible metal known as adamantium. He has to volunteer, because according to Stryker, there's just no way that anesthesia will work on him due to his healing factor, even though in X2 we saw him put down for at least a few minutes with a bullet to the head. Yeah. So the procedure is successful and the adamantium is bonded to his skeleton, and at this point the writers don't even try to make it resemble the flashbacks that were shown in X2. Once the procedure is completed, Stryker immediately orders for Logan's memory to be erased, but Wolverine overhears him and breaks out of the compound so it doesn't happen. At the end of the movie, Logan is shot in the head by Stryker with a gun that uses adamantium bullets, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is supposedly how Wolverine loses his memories. An adamantium bullet. Seriously? Deadpool, what do you think of that? Lame! My thoughts exactly. Thing number 2. Stryker's plot. It soon becomes apparent that Wolverine is merely a linchpin in William Stryker's scheme. His master plan is to combine as many mutant powers as possible into Wade Wilson's body to create the ultimate mutant killer, Weapon 11. Bill, you already have the ultimate killer right in front of you. Logan, what's your catchphrase?
It's not a catchphrase, bub.
Just say it.
I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
Fan service! So, yeah. Why bother going through all the effort of tracking down, capturing, or killing mutants, and pooling all of their abilities into one body when you can just brainwash Logan and have him as your ultimate mutant killer? I think it's safe to say that William Stryker's plan sucks and feels like something out of an old video game. Great plan, William. Great plan. Thing number 3. Victor Creed / Sabretooth's motives and his relationship with Wolverine. I mentioned before that Victor Creed comes off as a stereotypical supervillain. Don't say racist. Okay. And that he was given absolutely no character motivation or depth. Let me expand on that just a little. So, Victor spends half of the movie tracking down and killing former members of Team X so that Stryker can use their DNA for Weapon 11. He spends the other part reminding Logan of the fact that they are brothers, and that brothers stick together, whilst at the same time making Logan's life a misery. So, what is the deal with Victor? Why is he so perfectly willing to help Stryker create a tool that can exterminate the mutant race? Given that he winds up later on in the company of Magneto, who is the exact opposite of Stryker and wants humans destroyed instead, it's clear that he doesn't loathe being a mutant himself. And what about his relationship with his brother Logan? He doesn't hesitate to try and ruin Logan's life simply because he left the team, only to flip-flop back again to help him out against Weapon 11, spouting the line, "Nobody kills you but me." Nobody kills you but me? Seriously? Okay, shouldn't that be Wolverine's line? Does Sabretooth even care? I don't know, you don't know, the film sure as hell doesn't know. Let's just move on to thing number 4, lack of continuity. Continuity? Deadpool, you can't steal other YouTubers' lines. But it's my line. Oh, and by the way, I'd like to say hello to It's Just Some Random Guys Deadpool. Hello, It's Just Some Random Guys Deadpool. Thanks for the line. Can't we just get on with the review? Please. Sorry. Stop saying that! Ooh, okay. Who tangled your web all of a sudden? Sorry, folks. I got a little carried away there. Anyway, thing number 4, lack of continuity. There are several points in the film that just don't sync up at all with the flashbacks that were presented in X2, most particularly a line that states that Logan will have no memory as a result of the operation. Then, there is a scene where after they meet again for the first time in 15 years, the older Stryker, played here by Brian Cox, deliberately clues Logan in that he has ties to Logan's past, even though in this movie, he causes Wolverine's amnesia on purpose, to stop Wolverine from coming after him. I can only assume. You've got the mind of a true scholar, Bill. You really have. And finally, thing number 5, nitpicks. I know, I'm sorry. I know you people hate nitpickers, but in a movie like this, you just can't help yourself. Throughout the scene where John Wraith fights Sabretooth, I was wondering constantly when Wraith would have the common sense to teleport back to where Logan is and tell him that, oh, I don't know, that Victor is here. Stop messing around with Gambit and come and help me take him down? No. He'd rather stay where he is and risk getting killed. Which, by the way, actually does happen. The whole thing about Cyclops and the other captive mutants being rescued by a younger Professor X just doesn't work for me. There's enough stuff crammed into the movie as it is without throwing in a Professor X cameo. And of course, we had to talk more about this Weapon 11. Or as the film would like you to believe, Deadpool. That's supposed to be Deadpool? He looks more like Baraka out of Mortal Kombat. I know I'm not the first person to say this, but come on, the resemblance is uncanny. Apart from the mouth. And now that I mention it, hey, writers, it's bad enough that you made him look unrecognizable, but did you really have to sew his mouth up? He's the merc with a mouth. He talks. A lot. Sure do. But before we bore you to death with our incessant prattling, which, by the way, is the best kind, let's move on to the production aspects of the movie. The visual effects are good in places, but passable in others. Wolverine's claws are now entirely CGI as opposed to a combination of props and CGI as they were in the first three movies, and you can really tell. The action sequences are hit and miss, mostly miss. The scene where Logan is pursued on his motorcycle by Agent Zero in a helicopter is very thrilling, and it's great to see Wolverine use his claws in inventive ways. By contrast, the fight between Wolverine and Gambit and the three fights between Wolverine and Sabretooth feel too short and abrupt. The final fight, which consists of Logan and Victor against Weapon 11, is okay. There are some cool shots like Wolverine blocking Weapon 11's optic blast with his claws, but the fight is literally cut short before it gets interesting. The tone of the film is very uneven, with comedy sometimes feeling out of place, and the dialogue isn't outstanding, although there are a few good jokes and lines here and there, such as Logan's "I'm Canadian" line, which sounds cool. Okay, so is there anything you guys would like to add before we finish?
No, can we just wrap this up, please?
Yeah! This video is getting longer than the last one. Suit yourselves? How about you go first, Logan?
Whatever. 2 out of 5.
Deadpool, how about you?
Frustrating, disappointing, 0.5 out of 5. I hate this movie, and I'm gonna beat it up when the episode's over.
I guess it's my turn then. I'd say this movie is dog dung, but that would be unfair. The cast and Hugh Jackman, especially Jackman, give their all, but they can't stop the lackluster writing and effects and bloated cast of characters from sinking this film into a 1.5 out of 5. Wow, Logan, you actually gave it the highest score.
You gonna change that as well, bub?
I wouldn't dream of it. It's your movie. Now let's assemble our scores into one. That X-Men Origins Wolverine gets a very low 4 out of 15. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back as soon as we can with our next episode. Until then, make my Marvel.
Make my Marvel.
Papa Americano!